I'm going to go through a few problems of Algebra 2 C8 IXL with you. So here we have y is less than or equal to negative x plus 5. And this might be a little new, but just think of this as the equation of a line. For now, we're going to ignore the less than or equal to sign, and we're going to assume it's an equal sign. So we've got y equals negative x plus 5. This is basically a line in slope-intercept form. The slope is whatever is being multiplied times the x. Sometimes it looks like the letter m. In this case, you might think there's no number here, but actually the negative in front of the x is actually a negative 1. So the m value, the slope, is negative 1. The y-intercept value, which is sometimes called b, is 5. So first I'm going to put my mouse on the y-intercept 5, and that's going to mark one of the points. And then I'm going to say, okay, the slope of negative 1, rise over run, is negative 1. So that means, let's say it's negative 1 divided by 1. So rise is negative 1, so it goes down 1. And then the run is positive 1, so it goes over to the right 1. And so it's a perfectly diagonal line going down. Since it's a slope of negative 1, it makes sense that it's going down because things that go down are negative, right? So I'm going to click there, and that's my line. And then I'm going to say, okay, do I want to make this line dotted or do I want to make it solid? Well, in this case, it says less than or equal to, so I want it to be solid. If it's solid, that means it's also equal to. Then it says then I'm going to forget, okay, now I've already done the line. Now I'm going to figure out, do I shade this bottom part or do I shade the top part? Okay, since it's y is less than or equal to this quantity here, I'm going to shade below the line, okay? Another way to think about it is like we did in the investigation. You're going to test a point that you think is supposed to be in it, like down here. So I'm going to test 0, 0. That's an easy point, right? So if I put 0 and 0 in here, I get 0 is less than or equal to 0 plus 5. So that's 0 is less than or equal to 5, and that's true, right? So, yeah, I'm going to shade this side. Now I'm going to see if I'm right. You got it. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. So this time I have y is greater than 4x plus 1. I am not going to, consider this to be greater than. I'm just going to consider it to be y equals 4x plus 1 so that I could draw my line first. Okay, so let's see. A slope of 4, because the slope is the one that's multiplied times x, plus a y-intercept of 1. So first I'm going to click on the y-intercept of 1. And then I'm going to see, okay, slope 4. Slope 4 is like 4 divided by 1. So it's the rise of 4 over a run of 1. So the run is 1, and the rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I can click there. Do I want to have a solid line or a dotted line? Well, in this case, it's greater than. It's not greater than or equal to. So I'm going to make it into a dotted line. And then, last of all, do I shade this side or do I shade this side? Well, since it's y is greater than this quantity, I would shade above, okay? So if I want to test to make sure that that's right, I'm going to put in one of the coordinates over here that should make that equation true. So I'm going to use 0, 10, okay? So I'm going to put 0 in for x, and then I'll get 0 plus 1, which is 1, and then I'm going to put 10 over here. 10 is greater than 1. That's true. So I do indeed shade this side, and now I'm going to see if it's right. Okay, so that's how you do these, and please ask Mr. Hayes or me questions during class. I wanted to show you how to do this other problem here. This might be a little confusing because it does not look like it did before. It does not have y on the left side with everything else on the right side. It doesn't look like what we had in the investigation either. I just wanted to show that you can easily change this to the format that we're used to that looks more like a slope-intercept form. What you do is you're going to use algebra you're going to pretend that this is like an equal sign. You're just going to move things to the right side using algebra, leave the y by itself on the left side. How would you move the 2x to the right side? You would subtract 2x from both sides, and then that will give you y on the left side and negative 2x plus 7 on the right side. And so I've written that here just so you can see what that looks like. Now considering this, now you're going to try to graph this. So that would be a y-intercept of 7 and the slope of negative 2. So that means negative 2 divided by 1. So negative 2 rise, 2 down, run of positive 1. 1 over to the right. And then I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say this should be dotted because it's less than, right? And then y is less than is y is less than on the left side. That means that we're going to be underneath the line. Okay, another way to confirm that is 0, 0 is under the line, so I'm going to plug in 0, 0. I'm going to put 0 in for x, I'm going to put 0 in for y, and see if I get a true statement. 0 is less than 0 plus 7, so 0 is less than 7, that's true. So 0, 0 is indeed in the region. Now I'm going to see if that's right. And it is. Here's a slightly different problem that I want to show you. If you have x plus 4y is less than 20, now it doesn't look like either of the other two. So what you need to do again is you need to get y by itself on the left, and then you need to put everything else on the right side. So we're going to subtract the x to the other side. So we're going to start with x plus 4y is less than 20, but we're going to subtract x from both sides, and then we're going to get 4y is less than negative x plus 20. Then we are going to divide both sides by 4 so we can get the y by itself. So we're going to get y is less than, and now we put it in parentheses, negative x plus 20, and we'll put divided by 4 underneath both negative x and plus 20. Now we need to put this exactly in slope-intercept form. So we want to distribute this divided by 4 to both elements here. So we're going to simplify, and we're going to put y is less than or equal to, and negative x divided by 4, plus 20 divided by 4, which happens to be 5. So now we know that this is slope-intercept form, and the slope looks like it might be divided by 4 or something, but actually it's negative 1/4, also known as negative 0.25. Okay, and the y-intercept is equal to 5. Okay, so slope is negative 0.25, and the y-intercept is 5. So let's try to graph this. So the y-intercept is 5, and the slope is negative 1/4, so that's equal to negative 1 rise, and the run is 4 through 3, 4. Okay, and it's a less than sign, so I'm going to change this to a dotted line, and it's y is less than, so that means it's below. But just to check, I'm going to put the 0.00 into here. I'm going to put 0 in for x, 0 in for y. I'm going to get 0 plus 0, which is 0, is less than 20, so that's true. So I'm correct when I shade in the bottom. Let's make sure. Great job. Here's one with a slope that's a little different than before, 7/3, okay? So how would you draw that one? Well, on one hand, this equation is kind of easy because there is no y-intercept. The y-intercept happens to be 0, okay? On the other hand, the 7/3 is kind of a complicated slope. So 7/3, the rise is 7, the run is 3. So I'm going to go up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm going to go to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make it a dotted line because it's greater than and not greater than or equal to, and then since it's greater than, y is greater than, I'm going to be above here. But just to make sure, I'm going to plug in a point like 0, 10, x equals 0, y equals 10, x equals 0, the right side is 0. The left side is going to be 10. 10 is greater than 0. That's true. So I'm correct when I color that in. Just making sure. Brilliant. Okay. Now entering the challenge zone. So I have 2x plus 3y is less than negative 6. I'm going to first try to put this in a form where the y is by itself on the left, everything else is on the right. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I'm going to get 3y is less than negative 2x minus 6. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 3 in a continuing effort to get y by itself on the left side. So y is less than, and then this whole expression here divided by 3. Then I'm going to distribute the divided by 3. I'm going to get y is less than negative 2/3 x minus 6/3. Now I'm going to simplify this 6/3 because 6/3 is the same as 2. And finally, I get this equation here. Y is less than negative 2/3 x minus 2. So what's my y-intercept? It's negative 2. What's my slope? It's negative 2/3. So I'm going to mark that on the graph here. Y-intercept, negative 2. The slope is negative 2/3. A slope of negative 2/3 would be negative 2 divided by 3. So the run is negative 2, goes down, and the rise is negative 2, and the run is positive 3, which goes over 1, 2, 3. So here I am here, and it would be a dotted line, and since it's y is less than, I predict it's going to be down here. So we're going to put a number that's down here and plug it in here. So we're going to put like negative 10 comma 0. So we're going to put in negative 10 for x. We're going to get negative 20 when we multiply by 2. When y is 0, it's 3 times 0 is 0. So it's negative 20 is less than negative 6, and that's true. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this and check. Well done.